Hey there, it's Walt. So I have kind of a business riddle for you this week. And it's this. What is the difference between service and hospitality? There was a fascinating article in this past week's New York Times regarding the restaurant and hotel industry, and as it emerges from the pandemic, what has to happen in that industry for it to return to viability. And the author dissected the distinctions between being a server and creating a sense of hospitality. And the distinctions were these. It was the difference between simply doing tasks, setting a table or making up a room, versus creating an experience. The first being just service, and the second, hospitality. And the more I thought about this piece, the more I realized that this applies across the spectrum of business for entrepreneurs and business professionals of all stripes. That is to say, I think that we're all in hospitality, because when we are intentional about creating an experience for the people that we serve, then and then only do we really stand out in the marketplace, and then only do we really serve at that deep level that makes a difference in other people's lives. And I think hospitality does in fact require a deep level of intention. And that is to say that we need to be mindful and intentional of exactly what that experience is that we want to create for our people. As a trial lawyer, particularly in the area of criminal defense, I used to love to go to court. I would go to court because I would enjoy seeing my colleagues on both sides of the aisle. It was just fun. These had been people I had known for decades, and it was great to see them, and I was comfortable in that environment. And yet I always was very mindful of the person who was standing next to me, my client, that it was probably the most scary day of their entire life. And so every day that I went to court, even though it was light and airy for me, I wanted to be mindful of that fear, of that trepidation, and always create the experience of safety for that client. As a business coach, I'm aware that entrepreneurship, building a business, particularly in this environment, can be scary stuff. And that entrepreneurship and building a business can be a really lonely go. We can get so siloed. And so my intention as a business coach is to always send the message, to be very overt with my clients. You're not alone. I make myself available all of the time because I always want my clients to know that they're not on this path by themselves, that I'm with them. I'm their co-collaborator, their co-conspirator. They're not alone. It's the experience of being held that I want to create. And so regardless of what business we're in, coaches, consultants, business professionals, accountants, IT professionals, service providers of all stripes, we're all in hospitality. And it doesn't take much to create an experience that is elevated beyond that which most of us experience day to day. Most of us have these really horrific client and customer experiences. I had a bank flag, because we travel so much from one side of the pond to the other, a bank had flagged one of my credit cards for fraud. I was asked to call the fraud department, and I ended up spending 35 minutes on hold. That wasn't a very good experience. So it doesn't take very much, given our environment, to elevate the experience for the people we serve. So it could be as simple as returning your phone calls every single day, answering your emails within 24 hours. It could be as simple as sending a handwritten thank you note to someone. It could be creating some type of element of surprise or unexpected generosity. We walked into an Airbnb in Philadelphia on one of our trips, and we had paid good money. It was in downtown Philadelphia. And there on the dining room table was a beautiful, non-inexpensive bottle of wine with two beautiful long stem crystal glasses and a little note saying, welcome. It's like, they didn't have to do that. But it was like, oh my God, this feels so welcoming, so embracing. It could be something little that you do for your clients and customers. I remember doing an event, and our amazing director of operations, Madeline Smythe, and I were reviewing the food and beverage list. And I was going down the list, and there was this expense for bottled and still water at everybody's place. And I said, Madeline, what's this? It was like 5 times what I expected. She said, well, I thought, that if we had a bottle of still water and a bottle of sparkling water at every person's place, it would create a sense of delight for them. And I thought, oh, that she gets it. And it is the concept of intentionally creating delight is something that we talk about all of the time in our business. What this is going to mean, I think, for many of us is that we need to really slow down and be thoughtful about this. I have a wonderful physician. His name is Mark, and I know he's really, really, really busy. And he has this practice of coming in and closing the door and taking off his white coat and hanging it on the back of the hook and sitting down right there, just sitting down, not in front of a computer or an iPad. He just sits down and he starts to have a chat as if I'm the only person in the day that he has to take care of. Just slowing down enough to connect deeply and presently with another person. That's a gift. That's a gift of hospitality in this crazy busy world that we live in. So I want to invite you to think, how can you elevate the experience for the people that you work with day in and day out? How can you create this sense of hospitality for the people that you serve? How can you create delight? So Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you say, people will forget what you did, but they will never, ever forget how you made them feel. We're all in hospitality. Make it a great rest of the day, great rest of the week. Talk soon.